What's going on? Welcome to module number 6, and we are getting into the good stuff. At this point in the course and module in Offer University, we are getting into the nitty gritty, the psychology. This is the secret shit. This is the stuff that nobody wants to tell you because this is how they sell to you, right? And so everybody will tell you all this other stuff, right? They'll give you the fluff, they'll give you the whatever, but this is like the real deal, no joke stuff that's going to get people to have to say yes to your offer. They're gonna. This is why I say your ideal customer has to say yes to your offer, and it is all about the psychology. And really quick before we get into the lesson, um, about in February of this year, February 2018, I went to the 10X Growth Conference put on by Grant Cardone. It was this amazing event, over 9,000 business owners and entrepreneurs and salespeople in the audience. And he had like 30 something speakers, all kinds of people from different industries, different walks of life, all this stuff. And the thing he allowed, basically, this is how these events are set up. The speakers go, they give their presentation, they're allowed to pitch an offer at the end, and if people buy their offer, 50% of the money goes to Grant Cardone, the other 50% goes to them, right? And so he had all these speakers, right? He had people like Jordan Zimmerman, that's a billionaire. His company does like $4 billion a year in revenue. He had Damon John there, right? And so I'm there. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. I want to learn. I want to get the energy. I want to find out new stuff. Um, but more importantly, I wanted to leave feeling like that my money was worth it, right? And so I'm there, and all these speakers are going up, and everyone's pitching their offer, and there's great offers, but I'm not really feeling anything, right? It's just not for me. And then the person I was most excited to see was Russell Brunson, who's the owner of ClickFunnels. And the reason I was excited to see him because he had taught me so much about marketing through videos, through the courses I bought from him and stuff like that, that I just knew it was going to be an exciting presentation. So he has the very first presentation of day number 2, and everybody walks into the arena, and there's these little packages on our seats, and they say don't open until Russell tells you to, right? And he goes up there and he starts doing his presentation. And the presentation he's doing is the same exact presentation that he taught in the course that I took. Like literally the same thing. He did nothing different. He did the same exact storytelling, presenting his offer, and doing the whole thing. And at the end, when he tells people what the offer is, and he goes, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that, and you're gonna get this, and if you do it now, you're gonna get this, boom, 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 and then he starts going into all this stuff, right? And literally, there was 9,000 people in the room. He made over $3 million in one 90-minute presentation. No joke. I saw people start to get up and run towards his booth, and people were getting up and going to pay him. The offer was like $3,200 was how much he was selling his offer for. And people were getting up and literally sprinting up the stairs in the T-Mobile Arena to go to the booth because he offered them to take he offered them a bonus to take a picture with him if they purchased the offer, right? And so I go out there to check and see, and literally there's lines of thousands of people standing there in lines to pay for this offer and to take a picture with Russell Brunson, right? It was one of the most insane things that I had ever seen. But then later on that day, Damon John, right, went up, and Damon John was probably the most anticipated guest because he's been on Shark Tank. He's a billionaire, FUBU, right? Everybody knows who Damon John is, and Damon John goes up and he has this amazing product, this amazing thing that he's presenting, and basically what it is it's this online platform where you get everything that he's ever learned in business. So he tells you how to structure your business, lawyers, da 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 da. It's like hundreds of thousands of resources and hours of video and lectures and all this stuff, right? It's basically him teaching you everything he knows about business. And this is coming from a guy that's a multi-billionaire, and has been in business for years. And when he went up and he presented his offer, it was like crickets. It was like nobody was buying, and it was literally so bad when he presented his offer. It was so bad that another guy from the back came out and started trying to oversell it. He's like, "Come on, guys, do you know who this guy is? This is Damon John." Da, 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 da. He starts like overselling it, and people almost get like irritated, right? There's like, "Yo, man, stop trying to sell so hard." And so what's the difference, right? Because the Russell Brunson guy, when he was like, "Hey, how many funnel hackers do I have in here?" There was maybe 100 people that were like, "Woo!" Right? I was one of them. So only maybe 100, couple hundred people in the room knew who he was. Versus Damon John, everybody in the room knew who he was. Everyone was excited to see him. So what was the difference? Why did Russell Brunson do 3 million in sales, and Damon John had to have a guy come from the back and try to hard sell, hard close? Because nobody was buying. What's the difference? There's one difference: the psychology, the offer psychology. Damon John thought he could go and basically he was pitching the benefits, right? Hey, this program is going to teach you this. It's going to show you how to do that. You know, this is everything I've learned in business. Boom, boom, boom. Everything he was saying, right? He was saying was just about the product. He was pitching a product. Russell Brunson was selling a vision and showing how his offer could help people achieve the vision. And so I left there with a true realization that it doesn't matter what you're selling. It doesn't matter how many people know you, how good you are, and what all this stuff. The thing that matters is the psychology in which you use to persuade the people you want to take action. That's the only thing that matters. And so with that, the reason I tell you guys that story is because when we dive deep into this offer psychology, this is powerful. This is where you truly can take things to the next level. And I use this in all facets of life, right? I use this in my relationships. I use this as a coach with the kids. I use this in all different facets of life because it's that powerful. And so with that, I'm going to hop over into the presentation and we are going to get started. Okay, so offer psychology. Why do people buy? People buy for their reasons, right? People buy for their reasons, not your reasons, their reason. And what I mean by that is this chapstick, as a simple example, you notice I got the same stuff on my desk, right? This chapstick, as a simple example, I might buy it because it smells good, right? Someone else might buy it because when they put it on their lips, it tastes good. Someone else might buy it because they've tried all kinds of chapsticks and this one is the only one that helps their lips feel moisturized. Someone else might buy it because they had dry mouth and were on a date and were like, "Oh shit, I need that," and they just grabbed it, right? So people buy for their reasons. That's the first thing you got to understand. The next thing that is crucial for us to understand is that people only do things for one of two reasons. There's only two reasons in the entire world people do anything. Number one is to seek pleasure, is to move towards pleasure, and number two is to move away from pain. Right? That's it. That's it. That's why we do everything we do is only for one of those two things, to seek pleasure or avoid pain. And a lot of times we're doing both, right? Sometimes we're like going to the gym every day. We're avoiding the pain of feeling like crap and looking like crap, but we're also seeking the pleasure of looking good and feeling good, right? So there's like a double-edged sword there. But people only do things for one or two reasons: seek pleasure or avoid pain. And pain is a much stronger motivator than pleasure. They've done studies where people like if someone could go out and get $10,000, or someone had $10,000 and had to protect it with their lives from someone stealing it, people would be more likely to protect the $10,000 they already have than to go out and try to get the 10,000. So people will always use pain as a bigger motivator than pleasure. And so the next thing we need to understand is people buy with emotion and back it up with logic. I don't care how logical they are, if they're the most analytical person in the world, there is still an emotional feeling in their brain, in their heart, wherever, that tells them I can trust this person. This person's not a threat to me. This makes sense. I'm not going to get screwed. I'm not going to get, I'm not, there's the pain, there's a emotional symbol, right? There's an emotional thing that comes over people that tells them that there's not going to be pain and that there is going to be pleasure, which is why they take an action. And so even when people make it a logical argument, an example is someone goes and buys a Ferrari, right? and they might come home and say, yeah, it has great gas mileage, and obviously I can get places faster because of the this and that, and I got this amazing warranty package that this, and they're telling you all the things that would make logical sense why they bought it. But the real reason they bought it is because when they got in that car and they looked around and they felt that status and they saw people looking at them, and they felt that feeling of driving fast and being in a powerful vehicle, right? That's wanted by most of the population. They felt that power, they felt that status, and that's why they bought. And then they back it up with logical reasons. And everyone, I don't care how analytical they are, everyone buys with emotion and backs it up with logic. And so here's the formula that you need to understand. DRAB. I got this from Tony Robbins. DRAB stands for dominant reasons to avoid buying, right? There's a list of reasons why people won't buy your offer. And though it's your job to identify what those reasons are. And then there's Urbans, right, is emotional reasons to buy now. So people have emotional reasons to buy now, right? What are their goals? What are their desires? What are the needs? What are the things that drive them that are going to get them to take action? But then you need to remember they back it up with logic. So you need to have some logical reasons for them to buy now also. And the most important thing on this that I think most people miss is when I say emotional reasons to buy now, logical reasons to buy now. You can give people a ton of reasons to buy, logical, emotional, but if you don't show them that they need it now, then that you let them off the hook, right? You say, okay, yeah, that's cool, call me later, and then they never call you back, or you try to call them, they don't answer, or it drags on for 8 months when you could have closed it that day because you weren't thinking now, right? You weren't thinking now, and I'm not saying this to preach. I'm not saying this to like sit on my horse. So what I'm saying is I've fucked up on this quite a lot, and the best thing to do is learn from other people's mess ups, right? So that's what I want to give you there. So you got to understand the scale. So if we're looking at this scale right here on the right side, right here, this would be Urbans and Lurbans, right? Emotional reasons and logical reasons to buy now. And then on this side would be dominant reasons to avoid buying. And your goal is you want the reasons to buy now to outweigh the reasons to avoid buying. That's your goal as a salesperson, entrepreneur, whatever your job is, whatever your path is. You gotta fill up the scale with emotional and logical reasons, and you got to make sure that you eliminate the reasons to avoid buying. Okay. And you got to understand that it's a scale, and everything that you do in your sales cycle is adding weight to the one side of the scale or the other. Okay. So there are certain questions that people ask themselves during a sales presentation. Okay. And the things that they ask themselves is, number one, can I trust you? Right. We have this reptilian brain, or the croc brain, or whatever you say it. And the first thing it asks is, do I need to fight or flight? Can I screw it, or do I need to fight? Right? Or like it just goes through like fuck, fight, or flee. You know what I mean? And so uh, that's the first question they ask is, can I trust you? The next question they ask is, do you have my best interest in mind? So it's like, okay, I can trust you. I don't have to fight you. I don't have to, we're not going to get it on. But then, do you have my best interest in mind, or are you just trying to make a sale? So that's the next thing. Do you actually care about me as a person, or do you just care about making the money, making the commission? The third thing is, what's in it for me, and can you prove it, right? This is called with them. What's in it for me? And this is one of the most powerful things for you to understand when you're trying to get people to, go along with your offer. You need to tell them what's in it for them, and you need to be able to prove it, right? Just telling people isn't enough. You got to show, you got to prove it. And I actually met a guy before who we went to lunch or we went to a Starbucks and met up and had some coffee and stuff. And he's done 6 figures in business every year. And he said one of the things that he always does is he's like, I don't ever tell people stuff at face value. If I ever tell someone something, I always make sure I can prove it, right? I always make sure I can prove it. And so, like, when I show you, I was going to show you guys the checks from my customer, but I'm not going to do that because it's count numbers and all that. But you always need to be able to prove what you say, right? You always need to be able to prove what you say. The next thing is, will this really give me what I need, right? So you can sell the vision, you can sell all these things, but is it really going to give them what they need? So an example of that is like this. In this jar right here is protein powder, okay? And there's a lot of different protein powders, right? There's vegan protein, there's whey protein, there's soy protein, there's all this stuff. And so people, they might know that they need to buy protein, but is this the right protein for them? Like, is it like if they're trying to build muscle, is the soy protein really going to help them, or do they need to go whey? Do they need to go with the weight gain? Like, what is the thing? Is this actually going to be give me what I need? And then the most important question they ask once you've gone through and showed them all this stuff is, do I really need it now? Do I really need it now? Right? And that's the thing that at our jobs as persuaders, influencers, right, is to show people why they need it now, why they can't wait, why thinking about it. Like, there is no thinking about it, right? You need to take action. You know what I'm saying? You need to take action, and now is the time to take action. So you need to show them. They ask, do I really need it now? You need to show them why they need it now. So this is the very simple way to think about this. They need to know why this, whatever your offer is, whatever the vehicle is that you're trying to get them into, right? They need to know why you, right? Why can they trust you? How can what's in it for them? Can you prove it? Those whole things. Why you? And they need to know why now. If you can answer those three questions in your sales presentation or in however you're looking to get people to move forward, that is this formula. That's the secret formula. That's the cracking of the code, right? And so people have three primary fears when it comes to your offer, okay? And this kind of goes from the why this, why now, but I want to show you the fears that people actually have, like the boogeyman, right? People have real fears about this stuff when people are trying to sell to them. Number one is the vehicle fear, right? So you have your offer, right? You have your main offer, and that might be, say, you're a personal trainer. So your main service might be working with people one on one, or say you're like me, marketing services. My main service is consulting people with marketing. So people have a fear of that primary service. Will personal training actually work? Is this really a time to buy a house? Will this network marketing opportunity really help me get what I need? Right? What's this? They have a fear of the vehicle, right? So then you can overcome the vehicle fear, but then what happens after that? So okay, yeah, personal training. These are the results I've gotten for clients. This it's very easy. I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to find out where you're at, and we're going to work. We're going to build. We're going to progress through. You're going to understand how to do all the workouts. By the end of it, you're going to have this, this, and this. Okay, so now that fear might disappear. But then the next fear that they have is an internal fear, right? Internal, in through them. And internal fears are when people basically they don't believe in themselves, right? Our biggest fear is that we're not enough, and if we're not enough, we won't be loved. That is human beings' biggest fear in the world. And so our internal fear is, am I able to do this? It's like, okay, that's cool. Now I believe personal training works, but am I really going to be able to do it, right? Or I believe that I see you're making all this money in what you're doing, or I see like the home is beautiful, but am I really going to be able to do it? Like, can I really do this? So then you need to overcome that fear, their internal fear. And so now they believe in what it is that you're offering. They believe they can do it, but then they have one other fear. That's an external fear, right? External fear in terms of, what will other people say? How will I be judged? What are my friends going to say when I told them I had to hire a personal trainer? What is my spouse going to say when I told them that I joined this company? Or what's my business partner going to say when I told him I hired this marketer? Right? They start thinking about external, right? What are other people going to think? What are other people going to say? And so when you're structuring your offer, you want to have these fears in mind. So we're talking about sequencing in the last module, and now we're talking about the fears. So what should be included in your offer is things to combat the fear, to allay the fears, right? And so here's how to structure your offer. You want to think in terms of what if. So you have your primary product, whatever it is. For us, it's marketing consultant. And then it's like, okay, so what if they get marketing consultant, and what if it they don't have the tools to make it happen? Okay, so then you give them the anchor, right? Is what they want most. So for a personal trainer, they want that. So you're going to get the one-on-one training, but more importantly, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do in all aspects. So in the gym, in your fitness, in your sleep, all the different elements. You give them what they want most, which is called your anchor, right? And then the next thing is you give them a product or a service to overcome the fear of the vehicle. So if they fear personal training, say you can say, okay, they're scared to go to the gym, right? You can say, okay, so I'm also going to give you home workouts, right, that you can do at home to practice and to and start getting your body ready for the things we're going to do in the gym. And then you solve that with an offer, with a part of your offer. And then you got to think about the internal struggles. Maybe they're scared that they're not going to be able to do it, that they don't have what it takes. So then you say, hey, I'm also going to put you in a private Facebook group with all of my other clients. And I've had women that have been 300 pounds and now are 150. I have men that could barely even squat, like they couldn't even squat the bar, and now they're strong. They're doing 315 for 10 reps, right? So you're gonna allay the internal fear, right? And then they think about external fear. Man, what are other people gonna say? So then to allay the external fear, maybe you give them a guarantee. I'm also gonna give you a 60-day guarantee where if you're not enjoying the services, if you're not liking it, I'll actually give you another personal trainer, and they'll complete the rest of your cycle for you for free. Or you can offer a refund, whatever it is, right? Something to allay the fact that if this fails and they got to tell other people that they failed, something that's going to allay that fear. And then the last thing is something to create urgency, right? And so why will they need to do it now, right? Maybe there's something special. Maybe there's some kind of leverage you have on them, where they have a wedding coming up, or maybe they have a medical condition where they have to get in shape now, right? Or if you're selling a home, maybe the home prices are about to go up. You already know, you have insider information. Or maybe the home, there's already two other bids on it, and if they want to move forward, this is the time to do it now, right? So you need some urgency. So I know this is a lot, man. This, the first time I heard this stuff and learned this, it like blew my mind, because it can be overwhelming, right? But it's simple. Here's what you got to do. Very simple. You have your primary product, right? Then you need something to give them that makes them want it even more, right? And then after you give them that, you need to make sure that whatever fears they have about the product, you have something to combat that. You need something to combat their internal fears, their external fears, and then you need a reason for them to do it now. That's the simplest way can describe it. And an example of let me give you just a really good example. Okay, I'm gonna use cell phone. Okay, I'm gonna use iPhone. All right. So for iPhone, primary product is the iPhone, right? Um, Actually, cancel that. Cancel that. I'm gonna switch this up. Cell phone service. Cell phone service is what I want to sell you, right? So my primary product is the cell phone service, right? But then the anchor is, okay, you're going to get the cell phone service through me, but I'm going to give you an iPhone. Okay, I'm going to give you an iPhone because the iPhone is going to help you take advantage of this service to the absolute max, to the best of your abilities, right? And then it's like, okay, so they might be scared because I'm T-Mobile and they're used to Verizon, and they're thinking like, um, you know, that T-Mobile's not that good. Okay, so to overcome that vehicle fear, I'm going to give you no contracts. So we don't do any contracts. If you ever want to cancel, you just pay off your phone, and you cancel the service. There's never will be ever any contracts for you. Okay, cool. And now they might be scared, like, damn, well, I've been using Android. I don't know how to use this iPhone. Okay, cool. So the other thing I'm going to do for you is I'm going to actually take you, and I'm going to help transfer all your stuff over, and I'm going to walk you through so you know exactly how to use the phone. By the time you leave, you'll know how to take pictures, you'll know how to send messages, you'll know how to download apps, you'll know how to do all the things that you'll use your phone for each and every day. And then it's like, okay, cool. And then they have like the external fears of Yeah, so man, how about if, what is my wife going to say if I switched over to Sprint? Or, what's this person going to say if this? And so then you say, hey, look, the other thing that we have is a 14-day buyer's remorse period. So in the first 14 days, if there's anything you don't like, or if you're just not feeling it, you can return the device. You get a full refund, except for there's a $50 restocking fee, but you get a full refund, and you don't have to worry. So if it's not working, or if you can't connect with people that you're connecting with because of service, you have that 14-day period to bring it back. And then the last thing we need is something to create urgency, right? And so that might be a bundle or a special. So it might be, hey, so we actually have a promo going on right now where if you get an iPhone with new service, you're going to get 50% off of Beats headphones, and you can put those on your bill. So they only add $5 a day, or $5 a month to your bill, and you pay them off over the next 24 months, right? So that you've just created an offer, even though you're selling a product, right? You're selling a product and a service. You just created an offer out of what it is that you're selling, right? Do you see how powerful that is? Can you guys like, do you realize how powerful this is, right? Do you like, this is the exact thing that I learned from the guy that did $3 million in a 90-minute presentation and outsold Damon John, who's like, just as popular as President Trump was prior to being the president, right? um, so now we're going to get into your module 6 homework. So I know this lesson is probably one that you'll want to watch 3, 4, 5, 10 times because of the psychology that it gets into. But there's a couple things that you're going to want to do for your homework, and you might need to watch it again before you do your homework. Number one, you want to write down, what fears do your customers have when it comes to your main product or service. So whatever your main thing is, right? Whatever your main thing is, if you're a nutritionist, what are the scares that they have about hiring a nutritionist? If you're a plumber, what are the main scares they have when it comes to hiring a plumber? If you're a personal trainer, what are the main fears they have when it comes to hiring a personal trainer? After you write that down, then you want to write down their internal fears, right? Maybe their internal fears is maybe they fear like they haven't done enough research, so they might feel stupid if they hire you and there's a better deal out there. Maybe they're scared that they're not going to be able to follow through with it, or maybe they failed so many times they don't think that they're going to be able to do it, right? What is the internal fear that they have? And then the next thing I want you to do is write down external fears that your customer may have. And external fears are things that are like outside of them, right? Maybe they're scared of what other people will say. Maybe they're scared that, if this goes bad, they're gonna have to start over. They're gonna have to do something, right? Something that's external, that moves outside of them. And then the last thing I want you to do is write down what you can add to your offer to solve each of the fears. Okay, what can you add to your offer to solve each of the fears? This is your homework. This is probably the most important homework that we've had up till now. The ideal customer stuff was important, sequencing was important, but this right here is the psychology. This is why people will have to say yes. And so spend some time doing this, and make sure that you take the time to think it through. Don't just sit there and just BS, right? Make actually go through and take the time to do it and work at it, because this is the power, right? This is the like I said, this is the key to the kingdom, man. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I spent a lot of money to learn this stuff, and I just want to share that value with you guys. So hope you appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.